weapons out of their carry-on bag, not people that are just going into the general lobby. And in regards to the FFA or TSA, yes, you'll have that opportunity, but that doesn't mean the FFA or the TSA won't send you a nice little letter at home saying you owe us up to $10,000. That's a separate entity altogether.
Okay.
Now, guys, we're going to take a break here in about 15-20 minutes. We've got some more coffee coming. But we're starting to have the problem. We're starting to get overwhelmed with all your questions, okay? And we've got a time on today. We're trying to keep going. We want to answer everybody's questions the best we can, and we'll try to, okay? So if you can just take notes. If you have a particular question about a particular part of the law, just take notes. On the breaks, we'll answer your questions. Justin or myself will try to talk to you about it. Afterwards, we'll be here. We'll be available to you as long as it takes to get your questions answered. But we need to really move on with the class. A lot of them may be covered in later slides. But let us get through it. We'll try to get through the class.
Everybody take about 10 minutes. Bathrooms are right up front.
Coffee's not here yet.
Oh, okay. Coffee's not here, so. Okay, we're going to keep going. All right. Coffee's not here, the world slows down. If you need to use the bathroom, you can get up and go. You've got one right behind this wall, and there's one out front. Okay? Yes, sir.
And then the first thing he does is talking privately with somebody else.
No, he said on the break.
All right, 46035, unlawful carrying of a handgun by a license holder. Subsection B has been updated to make illegal the carrying of a handgun in a holster or shoulder holster at or in the same place as previously prohibited under 46.035. Examples are bars, schools, correctional facilities, hospitals, churches, nurses' homes, amusement parks, etc. that don't have the 30-06 notice. There's a whole list out. They should have gone over this in your handgun class with you. If you're unsure, you can get on the internet and look it up, or you can go back in your booklet that they gave you whenever you took the class, okay? Just remember, if it's illegal to do with your concealed handgun license, it's still going to be illegal to do with your open carry license or your handgun license. Senate Bill 273 went into effect September 1st of this year. It makes a government code and penal code to prohibit a state agency or political subdivision from wrongfully posting notice of the act or the meetings required by that act. This law does not change the prohibition on carrying firearms in a courthouse or courtroom. Those actions continue to be illegal. This change seems to be directed more towards, for example, the meeting of a water board or a government council or government's committee. But House Bill 910, which goes into effect January 1st, 2016, states a license holder commits an offense if the license holder intentionally, knowingly, or recklessly carries a handgun under the authority of Subchapter H, Chapter 411 Government Code, regardless of whether the handgun is concealed or carried in a shoulder or belt holster at any meeting of a governmental entity. So, Senate Bill 273 says that carrying is illegal only at meetings subject to the Open Meeting Act, but House Bill 910 says that all government meetings are protected. This is that gray area. They went to the Attorney General for an opinion. They're waiting on his opinion. If he doesn't give one, we've got to wait till the next legislative session for them to clarify this. All right, so you have two laws that contradict each other. If you're unsure, you either need to contact that governmental entity and ask, or be on the safe side, just leave it in your car. Okay? Campus carry. It's 411.2031, carrying of a handgun by a license holder on certain campuses. When it says regular college down there, we're talking about public and private universities. They go into effect August 1st of 2016. And junior college goes into effect August 1st of 2017. Why junior college is a year later, I don't know if they think people at junior college are a little bit slower than everybody else. I went to TJC, I got my associate's degree there. Okay. I did speak with somebody here from TJC. Everybody's kind of waiting on UT Austin to come out with their rules for this. and they're,
The junior college has got an extra year of stay, they have better lobbyists, but more importantly, there's a lot of high schools that have dual credit
okay.
kids, so they were more concerned about the younger kids at the junior colleges.
He was saying at the junior college that a lot of high schoolers, while they're still in high school, go to junior college for classes. So that's one reason why they held off a year. Thank you, I didn't know that. Places of weapons prohibited, 4603 deals with carrying a handgun, licensed handgun on college campuses, and Senate Bill 11 amends penal premises, grounds, buildings, or passenger transportation vehicles of a college or university. We're going to talk about college and universities here for a little bit. Let me get finished reading, get through this, and hold your questions to the end, okay? Hopefully it'll answer some of them. It's important to remember that the changes deal exclusively with concealed handgun. It's only, the privilege is limited to concealed handguns, all right? You can't open carry on college campus. Open carry is still prohibited on college campus, even if the person is licensed to do so elsewhere as of January 1st, 2016. All right? So there's no open carry on any college campus. Senate Bill 11 adds public, private, independent colleges and universities to list of places where a person with a handgun license commits an offense if he or she violates the laws, rules, and regulations related to carrying the weapon. It states a license holder commits an offense if he or she carries a partially or wholly visible handgun, regardless of whether the handgun is holstered, on or about its person under the authority of Subchapter H, Chapter 411 Government Code, and intentionally displays a handgun in plain view of another person on the premise of an institution of higher education or private or independent institution or higher education, or on any public or private driveway, street, sidewalk, walkway, parking lot, parking garage, or other parking area of an institution of higher education or private or independent institution of higher education. Huh? Right? I'll break it down here in a little bit. All right, according to the new subsection A2, a person with a handgun license commits a Class A misdemeanor offense if he carries a handgun anywhere on a .6. You cannot open carry, you cannot conceal carry on a private campus. Private campuses are places like Baylor, Rice, okay? So we all know we can't open carry on any college campus, right? Well, now you can't conceal carry on a college private campus. But subsection A3, which is new, prohibits carrying a concealed handgun in certain areas of a public college or university if the entity has made the determination, passed rules about such, and has provided notice under Penal Code 30-6 with respect to the college's rules related to where a person may and may not carry handguns under applicable law. So you can go to a public university, you can conceal carry, but they're going to dictate where you can and cannot conceal carry. They will have signage up where you can and cannot conceal carry. Public, private, or independent institutions of higher education are authorized to establish regulatory provisions concerning the storage of handguns in dormitories. So it's left up to the colleges whether or not a student who lives on campus in a dorm can have that firearm in the building with them, or other residential facilities that are owned or leased and operated by the institution and located on the institution's campus. 411.203, carrying a handgun by license holder on certain campuses. Senate Bill 11 amends the Government Code, Penal Code to authorize a handgun license holder to carry a concealed handgun on the campus of a public, private, or independent institution of higher education in Texas, except that after appropriate consultation, a private or independent institution may prohibit license holders from carrying handguns on its campus, any grounds or building on which a university-sponsored activity is being conducted, or certain university-owned vehicles. Again, it's the same thing we just covered, they just worded it different. The president or other chief executive officer of a public institution of higher education, after appropriate consultation, is required to establish reasonable regulatory provisions. All right, they have to come up with some law that allows you to carry on their campus. They can't just say, well, we're not going to do it. All right? regarding carrying concealed handguns by a license holder on the campus of the institution or premise located on the campus. The establishment of regulatory provisions that generally ban a license holder from carrying a concealed handgun because they get state money, these public universities, that the state says, well, you've got to allow them to carry. Okay? Now, if you want to pay the money to go to Rice and Baylor, you pay the money to join that country club, you're going to abide by their rules. Okay? A license holder commits a Class A misdemeanor offense if the license holder carries a partial or if you carry a handgun on the campus of a private or independent institution of higher education that's banned the carrying of handguns regardless of whether the handgun is concealed, provided effective notice. We've already addressed that. Public institution of where and where not to carry, which is your, all right? Don't call us. Ask to speak with campus security or their campus police, and they'll be able to tell you. Also, it's an offense if rules prohibiting such carrying provide the effect of not concealed or correct concealed carry. All right. Prohibited weapons. This deals with the National Firearms Act of 1934. They classify short-barreled rifles, shotguns, suppressors, and machine guns as restricted. Senate Bill 473 simply brings Texas into conformity with federal law and the laws of 40 other states by listing weapons one can possess via the federal tax stamp in the penal code and adding an exception for the weapons that have been properly processed through the ATF in accordance with the NFA. A Texas citizen or a person licensed with written notice describes the division to collect a civil penalty. So if you have issue of a place they excluded you because you have your license, you need to buy, hey, if they say you need to leave, putting up a fight, you can, it's not going to do you any good. They told you a way to go about getting this done. You got to type the Attorney General's office and they'll investigate it from there. If the Attorney General office finds that that governmental entity has not solved the problem, they can fine it. Okay? All right, concealed handgun license is a valid form of personal identification. House Bill 2739 allows the use of a handgun license as valid proof of identification and prohibits denying a handgun license holder access to goods, services, or facilities because the license holder presented a handgun license rather than a driver's license or the other acceptable form of personal identification. If you go into a business that requires you to present ID to get in, such as like Electric Cowboy, as an example, you got to show your ID that you're old enough to get in there. If you don't have your license, your driver's license on you, and you show them that, they can't deny you service just because you showed them your handgun license. Remember, your handgun license has your driver's license number on there. Okay? All right, evidently coffee's here. We're going to take a break. Take about 10, 15 minutes, and then we'll get right back into this, okay?
It'll be gone by then.
He had a Washington good children.